Hey y'all, it's Ashley Bookishrealm. Welcome back to another video. Welcome if you are new here, and thank you for coming back if you've already been here before. So as you can see from the title of today's video, I am going to be talking about 10 science fiction and fantasy books that I want to try this year. Key word in all of this is try. This doesn't necessarily mean that I'm instantaneously going to finish all of these books by the end of the year. I'm setting realistic expectations and goals for myself because y'all know, like, girl, child, I be setting some unrealistic expectations to go for myself. But these are books that I want to try because they've been on my shelf for a while, and the goal this year was to read more books from my shelf. And with middle grade March full in swing, I actually am doing a pretty decent job at that, believe it or not. I am trying to make sure that I clear off a good number of these books that are sitting over here now that I have switched my filming to being in this area. So, like I said, I have 10 books on this list. Some of them are series, some of them are not series, some of them are ones that I've had my eye on for a while, and some of them I just kind of perused my shelf and I was like, you know what? It's about time to get this done. So let's go ahead and jump into this video. It's not too long. The first one that I have is The Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. So this is a well-beloved middle grade series. I know a lot of people who love The Keeper of the Lost Cities. There are a lot of kids who love this series. This is a very long series one, and the books are all extremely chunky. Like, all these books are 400, 500 plus pages. I think now some of these books are upwards to 800, 900 pages a piece, but they're middle grade, so I think as an adult, they're a little bit easier for me to dive into in terms of consuming them. But the series itself focuses on a young girl by the name of Sophie who has the ability to read minds, and she feels like she's the only person in the world who can do this until she meets another kid who actually can do the same thing. And then she figures out that there is a place for her to go where she fits in, where she belongs, and that she can no longer stay where she's at because it's not safe anymore. I just have been so intrigued by this series, I think, because of how much love it's gotten from the kids that I've come across at my job, and I've never had the opportunity to pick it up. And I've owned this book for a very, very long time. And last year I was able to find, I think, another one of the series. I was able to find another one of the series at a secondhand store for really, really cheap. And so I was like, okay, at this point, now it's time to really, really start it. I don't know if I'm going to pick this one up for middle grade March. Granted, it's still the beginning of the month, so I do have the perfect opportunity to read this, but I'll see how the rest of my TBR is looking for the month before I commit to picking this up. But I do at least want to try it before the year ends. The next one that I have is one that was actually sent to me by HarperCollins in one of their middle grade mailings, and this is The Frost Fair, which I believe is the first in the Miraculous Sweetmaker series, and it's by Natasha Hastings. Now, for some reason, when I first saw this book, because I saw this book in terms of like me going through and doing my own selection choices for my library, but I saw this and I was like, dang, this is really giving Frozen vibes, and it really does give Frozen vibes ultimately. This is about two girls by the name of Thomasina, which I have yet to see a character by the name of Thomasina, which I grew up knowing somebody who used to do my hair. Her name was Miss Thomasina, so it was just really great even knowing that one of the main characters' name is Thomasina. So it focuses on Thomasina and Thomasina and Anne want to go to the Frost Fair, which is supposed to be, I think, ruled by Father Winter himself. And when you go there, you should be able to make a wish. And Thomasina wants to go because she wants to bring back her twin brother, who has passed away, and has pretty much, the death of her twin brother has fractured her entire family, and so she thinks that bringing her brother back will actually fix her family. And when they go, though, they realize that the Frost Fair is not what they assumed it to be. I have not read a book with a carnival element in a very, very long time, and I think I kind of like the mashup, the idea of the mashup between like a carnival-esque thing with Frozen vibes. The whole energy about this seemed really, really interesting. This is another middle grade title, which would be a perfect read for middle grade March, but I'm not too sure if I'm gonna get to this one for middle grade March. This one also has, I guess, some historical elements to it. It takes place in 1638, so I wonder if that's going to play a role into how the story progresses. But this was one that I was looking at myself, so I was like, oh, that one sounds really, really interesting. The next one that I have is one that I should have read a long time ago, because the second book in the series just released this week, and it is Cameron Battle and the Hidden Kingdoms by Jamar J. Perry. This is a middle grade fantasy that is a mix of West African and Igbo history and mythology, and it focuses on this kid by the name of Cameron whose family, his parents, have disappeared 2 years ago, and so he lives with his grandmother, and they have this book called the Book of Chidani, which is a book of fable stories about this faraway kingdom, which essentially broke itself off to save the Igbo people. So his grandmother keeps the book locked away, and one day him and his two friends decide that they want to peek into the book, and they actually get transported to this kingdom. And instead of all the fantastical elements that they've read about inside the book with these stories that they know of, they are transported to this kingdom that has a lot of issues with the queen's sister, who is trying to essentially destroy the barrier between the two worlds. And so the people of the kingdom have been waiting for the last descendant, which supposedly is Cameron. And so now it's just a question of whether he has the ability to really save the people and the kingdom inside. But the cover for the second one is absolutely gorgeous, and I saw it this week. The reason why I went for this one on my shelf is not just because I was browsing my shelf, but I went for this one because the second book released this week, and I was like, sis, you gotta pick it up. The next one that I have on this list is one that I actually will probably try to get to in this month because it's middle grade March, and that is The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and this is by Kelly Barnhill. This is a Newbery Award winning book, which is probably going to be sad. Anytime a book has won a Newbery or Newbery honor, it's so freaking depressing. So I'm looking forward to this one, but I'm also really nervous. This follows the story of this town that makes sacrifices. It sacrifices a child to this witch to keep the witch from, quote unquote, terrorizing their town. But what they don't realize is that the witch is really kind and gentle and really, honestly, minds her own business. And the kids that they sacrifice to her, she actually just gives them to families that want children on the other side of the forest. So one year she accidentally gives one of the babies moonlight, and so she ends up having these magical abilities. And when she turns 13, her powers start emerging in very unpredictable ways, and so that causes issues. And then you have this guy who is determined to kill the witch to save his town, which I think this is going to be an interesting element, because at the end of the day, like, she's minding her own business. She's not trying to harm or kill anybody, but I'm interested in the relationship between her and the young girl, and then how this guy is going to play a role into the entire scope of the story. The next one that I have here is Anacondness of Ghosts by River Solomon. Now, I've read River Solomon before. Clearly, I've started reading this book. I started reading this book a long time ago. A very, very long time ago, and I actually started annotating this book a long time ago. A lot of people know what Anacondness of Ghosts is about. This focuses on a character by the name of Aster, who lives aboard a ship called the HSS Matilda. It's a space vessel. So essentially this space vessel is supposed to be taking these people, the last of humanity, to the promised land. The issue is that the people who are leading on the ship have imposed some really, really strict structures, inhumane things on people who have darker skin. And so Aster at this point is pretty much fed up, and they are wanting to do something. And basically it's looking at whether they have the courage and the strength to grow the seeds for a civil war. So I mean, this is one that I'm really interested in reading. I got a decent amount of the way through this one, but I will definitely start from the beginning. I always like going back and looking at my annotations. I think it's so fascinating. Like, oh yeah, I annotated this book. Am I still feeling the same way? Pretty annotations. The next one that I have is The Hera of Nubani by Nikki Drayden, which I've read Nikki Drayden before. absolutely love the book that I read by Nikki Drayden. This is an Overwatch story, which I've never played Overwatch, but I don't think that you have to play the game in order to read this book because it's an original novel. So this is about a young girl by the name of Effie, and this is taking place in a futuristic setting where AI technology and humans basically live in harmony. But then there's this terrorist by the name of Doomfist who comes along, and they want to sow discord in between humans and the robots, the AI technology. So in order to save the relationship that exists between them, Effie decides that she is going to build a robot by the name of Orisa, which is named after the powerful spirits Orisha. And basically she has to train this robot in order to make it be able to defeat Doomfist, which this sounds like a futuristic superhero story, which I'm very, very interested in because I think there's a couple of mashup of elements in here that I'm gonna find really, really intriguing. The next one that I have here is Black Sun by Rebecca. I can't talk today, by Rebecca Rodenhorst. Now this is one that I have been talking about for ages, y'all. For ages. I did start Black Sun. The issue with me reading Black Sun is that I tried listening to Black Sun on audio, and I can't listen to Black Sun on audio like just straight audio. I have to do a blended read of this one. And so basically it is literally just finding time to do a blended read of both of them, because this, I've heard great things about it, but I think the story's complexity is a little beyond me just being able to listen to it on audio, because I tried it and it didn't work. I know I've talked about reading Black Sun for forever. The sequel has been out now for a while. I need to put some time away so I can actually get the thing done. The next one that I have here is the Stardust Thief. Now, I've heard mixed things about the Stardust Thief. This seems to be one of those books that people really, really enjoy or they don't enjoy, and it follows a main character who steals magic. Bodyguard is a djinn. She ends up saving this cowardly prince. So when she saves the cowardly prince, she ends up drawing the attention of his father, and then they are sent on a journey together because she doesn't have a choice. He's basically like, either you do this or you're gonna get executed. So, you know, she doesn't have options, and so she has to go on a journey with him in order to retrieve this artifact. Now, I haven't really seen a lot of like reviews. I've just seen people say like, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I was going to enjoy it. I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to like it. So I'm not sure what the criticisms are of the Stardust Thief, but this is another fantasy book that has been sitting on my shelf that I'm like, girl, just read it. Just read the book. Please just read the book. The next one I have is We Hunt the Flame, which is one that I've owned for years at this point. I still haven't read it. So I originally was going to listen to We Hunt the Flame on audio, but I heard that the audiobook is not that good. There were some production issues with the first audiobook, if I'm not mistaken, but I feel like I'm intrigued by the story itself because it's about a woman who is a hunter who disguises herself as a man in order to survive a forest to help feed her people. Then it follows a son of a sultan who is not supposed to show any compassion because his father will punish him, and they end up in this complicated relationship where he's actually sent out to kill her. And so I think that premise of having like a kill order and then you meet each other and then things don't go the way that they're supposed to go, I kind of like that theme, that element, that kind of trope. But I have not had the time to sit down and read We Hunt the Flame. I need to find time to do it because this is ridiculous. I can do this. I can read this. Sequel has been out for a while. People love We Hunt the Flame, and I just need to get it done. And the last one that I have on this list is actually a short story collection, and it's New Suns, which is original speculative fiction by people of color, edited by DC Shaw. DC Shaw has a middle grade book coming out this year, I believe. This one, it's not the actual aspect of it being speculative fiction that intimidates me. I struggle with short story collections because short story collections are hits or misses. Like either they can be really, really good or they are just not good at all. And so I've heard good things about this, but it's just my own kind of, I guess, issues that I need to get over in order to read this one. But it includes some really, really great authors like Rebecca Rodenhorst and Neil Menon. Like, I am with an introduction by LeVar Burton. It's a lot of great names in this one that I'm excited. Darcy Little Badger, Sylvia Moreno Garcia. Like, these are people that I'm really, really interested in reading. but I just need to make it happen. Once again, it's just all about making these things happen. All right, y'all, so those are 10 SFF, I want to make sure I didn't say an extra F. Those are 10 SFF books that I'm interested in reading by the end of the year. If I don't get to them, at least trying them out, because I could try something and end up not really liking it. So at least 10 SFF books that I would like to try by the end of the year. Let me know in the comment box below, what are some science fiction fantasy books that you would like to read by the end of the year. As always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content from me, click subscribe button, hit the bell for notification. If you're interested in supporting this channel on Patreon, the links are down below. If you're interested in following me on social media, all the links will be down in the description box below as well. Sorry, y'all, that I'm so congested. It's so gross. I'm so congested. I'm so sorry. It's allergy season and I am suffering. I am suffering so bad. It was hard to actually film this video because I can't breathe. So there's that. But I'll be back with another video soon.